St. Louis music is where Alvarez began back in 1965. Alvarez has been one of the leading acoustic guitar brands in the USA and around the world for over 45 years. Its image is synonymous with quality and value. Its instruments are known for their tone and feel. Some of the most amazing artists over the last 5 decades have gravitated towards the brand and its guitars. For all of this, we are truly grateful and proud. While most guitars look alike, what you are about to see is one of the things that makes Alvarez different. What you're about to see is also something most die-hard guitar lovers can only dream about witnessing firsthand, and what most other guitar companies can only wish they had the wherewithal to perform so extensively here in the United States. But it's not just the location of the shop that makes Alvarez so special. It's also the fact that some of these guitar technicians have been adjusting Alvarez instruments under this same roof for up to 30 years. They have watched other guitar companies come and go, they have witnessed updates and improvements in the manufacturing process, and they have lived and breathed guitars through the years, making what they do second nature and second to none. Starting here, with the initial inspection, a visual inspection first, from top to bottom, looking for any finish blemishes or any other exterior defects to make sure the guitar meets all the specification standards for that model, including wood type, color, logo, inlays, and all other appointments. The binding is checked for a uniform seal. The back and sides are checked to make sure they match and are properly book matched. The instrument is then tuned up to pitch, and the intonation is checked throughout the fretboard to detect any shifts or dips in the wood that may have occurred while shipping. The angle of the neck is also inspected by looking down the fretboard and assessing the top of the fret's alignment with the bridge of the guitar. And, if necessary, the internal tempered steel neck truss rod is accessed and turned to help align the angle properly with the strings. Once this procedure is performed to the technician's satisfaction, the height of the strings off the neck is measured at both the 1st fret and then at the 12th fret to exacting specifications. Only after the instrument passes these initial playability tests will it be handed on to the next step. The technician then starts with the fingerboard by filing each one to level out the surface and make the instrument easier to play. The sides of the frets are then filed to a uniform 45-degree angle to smooth out any leftover metal burrs from the manufacturing process and to eliminate any overhanging edges that might have developed as the metal settled into the wood. These two materials are going to be married together for what could be generations, so they may as well be right for each other from the very beginning. So after all this adjusting, straightening, and filing and leveling, they aggressively rub it down with fine steel wool to remove even the tiniest little bumps and burrs that may have become lodged between the metal frets and the wood surface. And then they oil the entire surface to bring out the grain of the wood and provide an incredibly smooth, fast-feeling neck from top to bottom. It is this kind of attention to detail and time spent that makes the difference with Alvarez, always has. But when it comes to playability, that's only half the story. Equally as important is the positioning, spacing, and height of the strings off the guitar, and that is dictated solely by where the strings touch the instrument, that being at the headstock nut and the bridge saddle. Starting with the saddle, our technician now removes the factory-installed bridge pins and sets to work making the pinholes into a custom fit by reaming each one to the correct taper and then countersinking the holes if necessary to uniform specifications. The bridge is then heavily oiled to help keep the grain stable and protect the wood from years of handling, from dirty hands and from dry conditions. Then there's the saddle, where the strings actually touch the instrument at the bridge. If the bottom of the saddle is completely flat, the entire surface touches the bridge, resulting in maximum string vibration transfer onto the top. Because of this, the Alvarez technician will remove the saddle and carefully flatten the bottom on a straight edge belt sander, and then gently push it back into the bridge slot so they become one, making each instrument sound as good as it can. Now, at the other side of where the string touches the guitar, we find the headstock nut. It's important that each slot is cut at the proper width and depth to securely cradle the different size strings without being too loose, or worse yet, too tight, which can result in the windings getting caught up and making the instrument more difficult to tune. With Alvarez, each nut slot is custom filed and finished. One final step is to tighten each and every washer and nut that holds the tuning pegs into the headstock. Before the instrument is ready to ship, there's still a few procedures left. If there's a pickup installed, the guitar is plugged into an amplifier and played at different volumes while every control is tested to make sure there are no loose connections or component failures, and that the digital circuitry, including any on-board tuners, are in perfect working condition. Using a strobe, the finished instrument is then tuned up to A440 pitch and played again, this time with the utmost concentration, making sure every string is free of buzz, every fret feels good, and every note rings true. Yes, most guitars do look alike, but now you have seen one of the key components that make Alvarez different. Custom adjustments and hand finishing by experienced, dedicated guitar technicians